This broadcast of education and perspectives is paid for by Medgar Evers College.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Medgar Evers College, MEC TV Women's History Month program. This month means something special to all of us at MEC. We now have our first Black woman president, Dr. Patricia Ramsey. Welcome. Our show will highlight some women who influenced the mass communication department here at Medgar Evers College over the years. I'm Amanda Barrett.
And I'm Elijah Walker. Dr. Mary Umalu was the first woman to head our department for over 30 years, and thanks to her, we have radio and TV studios right here on campus. And let's not forget about the summers with the Jazzy Jazz concerts. Dr. Umalu also paved the way for many others to follow. Like our next interview with former dancer, choreographer, professor, and chair of the Mass Communications Department, Dr. Iloa Thompson.
Welcome everyone. Dr. Thompson is our department chairperson emerita, and she's come back to talk with us about being at Medgar Evers College and the unit of dance. Welcome home.
Thank you so much.
So, Dr. Thompson, tell us, when were you first attracted to dance and why?
Well, my very first attraction, I guess, was to the art of dance was in high school, where I joined the dance club. I'm sort of a rhythmic person, and I just liked dance all along, but was not really allowed to dance at home because my grandfather, my father, my stepfather, they were all ministers, and we being Baptists raised, they kind of saw dance as a sin. But as I was in high school, then I decided I wanted to, I guess, take a look at the more artistic side of dance, because that was different from just little party dancing.
Dr. Thompson, what are some of your best memories of dance and performance?
My best memories actually are when I initially saw the Jewel McLaurin Contemporary Dance Company performing at a arts festival across from where I lived. Just walked over there and by happenstance ran into that, saw them performing, and it just engaged me so much that it was, I guess, my highest and most rewarding, I guess I will say, influence.
Dr. Thompson, what is concert dance in your opinion?
Well, concert dance is actually when you expose dance to large audiences, giving them the opportunity actually to be engaged with it, as well as view it, as well as understand it. Because in many instances, if it were not for people like Alvin, Ailey, and Arthur Mitchell, black dance companies who are world-renowned, so many people across this world would not know actually that African Americans are that skilled at dance movement and the artistry of dance. And so concert dance is extremely important for exposing dance.
I'm happy that you said that, because it makes me think about the combination. You talked about learning the bop back in the day, but also this concert idea where dancers are on stage, and you can see how that would become a problem for a minister, because, well, maybe now we can accept the concert. Maybe we can see it in a different light. And Jewel McLaurin would be one of those people who would make that an important sort of transition.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because I actually joined her company, and I did perform with her in Chicago and around and about Chicago. And that was my very first experience, actually, with performing for the public. But if I can just tell you a quick little story about concert dance. The Les Ballets Africains came to Chicago years and years ago. This was back in the 60s, believe it or not, and I took my grandmother, as a matter of fact, to see it. Now, the Les Ballets Africains were a company where, from Guinea, who the younger girls would dance braless, right? And nobody paid any attention to that because that's what they do at home and in the villages. So they really wanted to show, the true lifestyle. Now, all across the world, this was okay with everybody, pretty much, except for in the United States, of the artistry of movement and of dance. That's part of concert dance. It teaches, it exposes. It gives you experiments with things that you may not know anything about at all, but you find that there's nothing wrong with it once you view it. But if you never see it, your mind tells you that something's wrong.
Right. Dr. Thompson, how does social justice play into the arts?
Well, we can look at it from this point of view. Does art imitate life, or does life imitate art? And from my perspective, I think art imitates life. And in the future, not only now is it happening, but in the future as well, you will see many arts areas, that is dance, theater, music, film, explore all the social injustice dynamics that have taken place today.
Dr. Thompson, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your time.
Thank you. My absolute pleasure.
Now let's go back to the show.
When it comes to history, for women and men of color, there are many who try to uplift our communities and spirits right here in New York City.
You're so right, Elijah. So many obstacles and struggles had to be overcome for our success today. Next is a tribute to some influencers from the Harlem Renaissance.
This quote is by Zora Neale Hurston. If you're silent about your pain, they'll kill you and say you enjoyed it.
I will be reciting a quote from Jacob Lawrence. My belief is that it is most important for an artist to develop an approach and philosophy about life. If he has developed this philosophy, he does not paint on canvas, he puts himself on canvas. Jacob Lawrence.
I have created nothing really beautiful or really lasting, but if I can inspire at least one of these youngsters to develop the talent that I know they possess, then my monument will live through their work. Augusta Savage.
We can go to African life and get a certain amount of form and color, understanding, and using this knowledge in development expression that interprets our life. This quote is by Aaron Douglas.
We all can agree those who came before us laid the foundation for change. I know there are special people I look up to, like my mom. She saw me one time getting bullied by a group of kids in elementary school and put me in a martial arts school where I learned how to defend myself and stay out of trouble. Amanda, we also asked some students what this month means to them. Here's that clip.
Women's History Month to me is inspirational. We get a whole month to be celebrated and appreciated compared to our past where we were devalued and underestimated.
Women's History Month means to me empowerment. It means that I can do whatever it is that I want to do. And I just have a future where I don't have to rely on someone, that I can just do the things that I can for myself.
It makes me feel strong because my own mother has always been my inspiration and my rock, because she's always pushed me to be a better me, always wanted me to be at the top of my own game, because she's a big inspiration because she's always been the top of her own game.
It gives me hope for the future. Sometimes it doesn't seem like things are going to get better, but a month for women to be recognized gives me hope for our future.
Reach my own goals, like my own goal of becoming a voice actor one day. And I hope one day that I can get to that goal.
Women, who's done so much for our community, like Rosa Parks, and also someone who is in our Arts Alive, Eleanor Barnes, who did so much for this school and has brought arts to the school that I got a chance to experience. Also, it's a time to celebrate my mom, who's given me all the skills that I need in order to be successful, for giving me music, for giving me dance, and just for making me.
Elijah, for me, Women's History Month is powerful. Seeing women, doctors, and nurses not only giving lives, but saving lives. There are so many more heroes we can talk about, if only we had the time. We'll be back after these messages.
How can you increase your career choices? How can you increase your quality of life? A higher education means a bigger bank account. Let me tell you how. Medgar Evers College BFA program is your solution. The BFA is a professional degree which gives you marketable skills and new technologies for the digital age that exists in our communities. In media arts, you can make up to about $125,000, theater arts, $152,000, and $111,000 in performing arts compared to minimum wage. Our internships allow for real-world experiences whether you are behind the scenes or in front of the scenes just like me. Picture yourself as a successful graduate with this BFA, producing your own TV shows and radio shows, choreographing your own pieces of graphic arts, and who knows, you too might be the next big star. So please sign up for the BFA program, change your life, and set yourself up for a successful future.
COVID has taken our friends, our social lives, and continues to take away from our campus activities.
But it doesn't have to be this way. We can take back our future, and it starts by leaving COVID behind.
Getting vaccinated is our best shot at reclaiming our campus life.
Don't hesitate, vaccinate!
After all we fought for, it's a shame our country has become so divided. In the words of the late Senator John Lewis, we all must get into good trouble to make our lives and communities better.
No matter what they put in our way, just like the phoenix can rise above the flames, so can we. Our next segment is a poem from Professor Hermina Marcellin.
The Lord gives sleep to those he loves. Maybe that's why I've been losing sleep lately. There's lines underneath my eyes connect with visions that make Satan look saintly. Go ahead and summon hell. I'm living this reality death by a chokehold with no indictment from the grand jury. When that black body got shot, seems to me like we're reliving this history. They say in death there is no mercy since there's nothing serious in mortality. So when blacks commit crimes against their own kind, don't you dare blame society, parce que nous ne sommes pas Jésus-Christ. Je suis Charlie, Jesus Christ. Boko Haram came riding in like a bloody prophecy. And ISIS gave new meaning to Egyptian deity. Who will resurrect what have been strewn about the earth in the name of blasphemy? Allah why have thou forsaken thee? 7 plagues poured 7 times from 7 bowls. Let's multiply the many ways to assure me that we will never be. Let's see, that's 343. Add that to the victims of Ebola, plus 0.01% of empathy from the wealthy. Let's not even talk about slavery, because that right there will lead us to the root of our atrocities, and fools with that type of money will walk through the vanity of a twisted mortality and believe that we could part the Red Sea. This is not about Christianity. This is a spiritual atonement with humanity. God is love, but could you be loved like the great Bob Marley? Something like Garvey, like feeding the needy, asking for mercy, clothed in divinity, something so holy? Or are we doomed, not by creed or religion or race, but by our own will? Are we doomed, like Armageddon waiting to boom, like the Big Bang kicking God out of his own room, like sexism when I just said his? Isn't that just like racism? Negro, please, we've been through the fire. Check out our attire. We're now in Paris. We've gone Hannibal Lecter, Clarice. Flesh of our flesh, blood of our blood, we serve to Baal as a dish. Told you I can't sleep. Our iniquities run deep. I pray that all who wish will appear like stars, like David, raw like Judah. Solomon's order to say something, say something, say something.
Our mass communications department here at MEC had strong women leaders as chairs, opening the world of art, music, dance, and media productions, just to name a few.
Sadly, last year we lost one of the great women who influenced and made an impact on the department by developing Arts Alive and leaving a mark on many students' future careers. Here is a previously taped interview with Dr. Eldonard Barnes.
Hello, my name is Glenn McMillan. I'm professor of music at Medgar Evers College of the City University of New York. I am honored to have one of our emeritus chairs, Dr. Professor Eldonard Barnes, to be with us today as we celebrate 50 years at Medgar Evers College. Good afternoon, Professor.
Good afternoon, Professor.
It's good to see you.
It's nice to be seen.
And during this interview, I want to be very informal. And I want to ask the question, how did you become an educator? What made you decide to become an educator in dance?
Well, first of all, my mother was a teacher in Farmersville, Louisiana. And then my mentors...
So you're a country girl?
I'm a country girl, but I was born in the country of Oakland, California. But and my mentor, teacher, and godmother was Ruth Beckford, who was the youngest dancer in Katherine Dunham's original dance company. And she started the dance department in the recreation department in Oakland. And so, and then she sent me to Katherine Dunham. So all of them were educators. And then, you know, Mama Bobby, who raised me after my parents died. I was an orphan, went through the system, and she took me in. And those women, they all emphasized education. Okay. And I decided that I wanted to teach. The key was, what would I teach?
Okay. There was a part there when you said that it was recreation. So dance somewhat started as a recreational program back in the day?
Back in the day, Miss Beckford and Miss Dunham used dance in inner cities as rites of passage for young people, for the youth. They used it to keep them out of the street and to guide them away from trouble and actually towards education, because part of my development was that in order to dance and to create, you had to read a story, write it, come back, and everyone would choose which story would be choreographed, and then they would choose the choreographer. That started at age 3 for me. Everybody else was 4 and 5. I couldn't figure out how my mother managed it, but she did.
What made you come to New York? What was the New York transition? What was that like for you?
New York, Broadway, the dance was so bright in New York that I wanted to come. I had brought a group of students to Alvin, Ailey to study for a summer course. Okay. And while I was here, Danny Glover, who I met at San Francisco State, invited me and my students to a dramatic performance that he was in. And as a result, I got the bug. I got the New York bug. And that just started the wheels to working about me coming to New York.
A quiet question. How was the Alvin Ailey experience?
It was amazing.
So now you're in New York. Now, how did you get to Medgar Evers College?
I was working on a PhD in dance education at NYU, and I needed a job. I had 2 young children. Bless her heart, Senator Velmanette Montgomery sent me for an interview at Medgar Evers College. I became director of the Learning Center as a result, and I was there for 15 years before I came to the Department of Mass Communication.
Now, do you remember the first time that we met and we were doing the pageant, Miss Medgar Evers?
Oh, that's right.
You did the dance, I did the presentation.
Taught the girls and really start the performing element along with Dr. Iola Thompson, you know, who actually brought Cheryl Byron into there.
So now you're at Medgar, you're working in the Learning Center. From the Learning Center, how did you get to mass communications?
God bless Dr. Mary Umalu, who founded the Department of Mass Communication. She saw my resume and asked me what was I doing in the Learning Center, but my passion, my love, how I had made my living prior to that time was in dance, as a dance educator.
I'm going to stop you one more time, and that is talk about Dr. Mary Umalu.
All I can do is shake my head because she was amazing. She was amazing, awesome, and I owe her so much because she did not stop until she got me into the department and back into my passion and love, which was dance.
Arts Alive, because that's your passion. That was your passion.
Yes,
mass communication.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
How do you, the beginning of Arts Alive, what did you envision when you first started that event?
I envisioned the talent of showcasing and lifting up our students, letting the community, the college, the administration, and Brooklyn to know about the artistic talent, the total artistic talent of our students at Medgar Evers College, that we not only had dance and music, but there was visual arts, there was media, there was the speech, there was the theater, and then just listening to the choir. The choir was amazing, the work that you did with the students, and that those same students, I think I had about 3 that were also in the choir. So I thought that it was important that not only that students and the community see the dance, but that they understand that the arts are connected and that arts is an educational journey as well as an artistic journey. Art is education.
That is very true. How was it like raising your 2 beautiful daughters and continuing your career at Medgar Evers College?
It was difficult. It was not a crystal stair. It was very, and I would tell a single parent that you have to look at your children and talk to them all the time, because there are things you miss. Absolutely. And that what happens, what's most difficult is that the children are the ones that are shortchanged in the process. And the only way you can do it is to take them with you, involve them as much as you can. And part of my legacy is my daughter, Ruby Inez Williams, who has a sasaya. It continued that way.
Professor, how was it raising your beautiful daughters and also having a career, your personal life. How were you able to manage that?
Extended family worked a lot to help me through a lot of things. And also bringing my children into the process of, or the journey as an artist, and allowing them to express themselves each in their own way. You know, one became a person operating a foundation, a sasaya. The other became a lawyer and worked in the system, helping people in another way.
Professor, our final question, how do you connect the arts and the spirit as you're working with students and your career? How do you connect that?
Well, uplift and express what we have to say or what we're living through our communication with our higher selves. And that's why I feel like the arts are an educational tool that motivates us as a people, that has continued to lift us up.
Professor, it is a delight to have you and to join with you in our celebration of 50 years at Medgar Evers College. It was wonderful seeing you. Is there anything that you would like to share with our audience today?
Yes. When I retired in 2012, my affirmation was pray and move your feet, which people thought it was about pray and dance, when it was out pray and take action, pray and do something. And now I add to that affirmation is live with the attitude of gratitude, because I am grateful for what the Creator's allowed me to experience and the journey that I have had, and what Medgar Evers College has added to this journey, and what I've been able to offer to Medgar Evers College students and what they have offered to the community.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. You have heard firsthand from our Emeritus Chair, Professor Elendar Barnes, for the Department of Mass Communications at Medgar Evers College of the City University of New York. Thank you, and have a great day.
I wish we had more than a half an hour to highlight all the outstanding women who contributed to our history and 50 years at Medgar Evers College.
It also looks like the Mass Communication Department and the new BFA program will carry on to make next generation of leaders and innovators.
I hope you all enjoyed our Women's History Month program as much as we've enjoyed showing it to you. Visit us at Medgar Evers College and check out our BFA program. I'm Elijah Walker.
And I'm Amanda Barrett. And we have more shows from MEC TV in the future, including a look back at the previous Arts Alive shows. Bye.
Bye.
This broadcast of Education and Perspectives is paid for by Medgar Evers College.